Hope you all are having a good day today. Yeah, I just definitely needed to recalibrate the past couple days. I was just feeling all these different body sensations and like was having a hard time looking at the phone for any length of time. I'm just like, okay, we need a break. Sometimes I do think definitely on YouTube and scrolling a little too much sometimes. So sometimes I just like, yeah, we need a break. We need to recalibrate a few things because we're not really meant to look at computer screens for that long. So that's just something for me to keep in mind. I don't know if y'all experience that too. So yeah, I had a great day today. It was actually 80 here. It's like a day of summer. It reminded me so much of my time in Hawaii, and I'm just like, I'm actually wearing same clothes that I was wearing in Hawaii. I'm just like, oh great. And then like I see tomorrow's forecast is gonna be much colder. and um was going thinking a lot today, of recalibrations and stuff just because my body was recalibrating things. I was like having headaches and eye stuff and muscle stuff. And I was just like, sometimes you just kind of have to take a moment, pause, go to that neutral place and see what's going on. And sometimes it is a you thing, sometimes it's just a random thing. I don't know. I feel like yes, we are manifesting our own reality and everything we're doing has something to do with us, but I don't think everything out there is like written, this is for this purpose, this is for that purpose, da 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 da. And like I think that we just kind of make our own stories up as things are going on. Like maybe we purposely attracted certain things to have a certain process with things, but I also think other things just kind of happen randomly because it just happens randomly. And it's up to us, like, what kind of meaning and story that we make of it. So, yeah, I mean, I could have been freaking out the past couple days with just random things I was feeling, but it's just like, I didn't think there was a need to. I just, like, okay, I just, like, need a break and not scroll and think so much. I think that's just what I needed. Like, I could have made it a whole big thing, but I'm like, it doesn't need to be a whole big thing. And sometimes you just need to take a moment to come to that neutral place. um I know I've heard a lot, especially from some of my other people, about like walking the middle way, because it's basically saying you don't want to walk in extremes of things. And I think it's good advice, but it's also it's subjective good advice at the same time, because my middle way is going to probably be very different from your middle way. I mean, my middle way now is probably extreme compared to like myself from like 10, 15 years old. Like I would have never, I couldn't even imagine living the way I do now. So it's just like when you're coming to that center point, trying to find your middle way, it's just like, where are the boundaries of that? Because for some people who I guess you can call extremists, rather it's with diet or politics, for them it's not extreme, for them it's just normal. And then that just constitutes what's normal for you. Like, what's your story around it? Like, for me, like, I can't even imagine like eating fast foods and stuff like that. But for some people, that's completely normal. And for someone like that, telling them I only eat like organic and grass fed stuff, for them, that's just an extreme that they can't even imagine. Versus me, it's just normal. So, what kind of stories are we telling ourselves of like what's normal, what's good, what's bad? And I think when it comes down to it comes down to the stories that you really want in your life. And for me living this life, eating this way and stuff like that is completely normal because I wanted my lifestyle to be a certain way. I wanted my health to be a certain way. And I'm not saying that other people don't want that same goal in mind, but they're choosing different choices based on their own middle way. And it's just like, where is your middle way? Because when I feel like I'm going to the extreme of something, that might be okay, maybe you're taking something too far. Maybe your negative ego is too invested in this, or maybe you're missing something at some point. Because, I always take it as like if you're too headstrong with something, it's one thing to be passionate, but if you're so headstrong that you're not willing to see anything else, but that I think that is mm, I won't find right language for this because I don't want it to sound negative, at least for a moment of pause, like if you're unable to see another alternative or anything, like anything else is blasphemy and stuff like that. Dogmatic. I think dogmatic would be an appropriate term. What do y'all think? I believe if you ever believe in something dogmatic, that there's no other way. And, this could also be subject to, because there are some things people might think that I'm being dogmatic about, but I don't think I'm being dogmatic about. But it's all about perspective. So I just encourage you, like, what you're going through and like what goals you're trying to set for yourself and where you want to be and all that stuff. It's just like, are you living in the middle way or are you living in an extreme? Because if you think of yourself as living in an extreme of something, I think that's just a clear sign that something might be slightly off balance. But if you think you're living in the middle way but you're not really fulfilled, I was like, okay, maybe something can be tweaked a little bit so that's a real middle way. Because I'm like, if it's a real middle way, it feels I don't want to say comfortable, because comfortable is not always the right phrase for it. But, like when you're just losing my train of thought a little bit. But it's like if you just feel like you have goals and you think you're steady on them, I think that's great. But if you feel like you should be doing more, maybe maybe there is something you could do more. Maybe there isn't something you could do more. It's very individual and you have to like look at the circumstances. It's just like when you want to have a baby. You can't rush the process of having a baby. You just can't. Like, but if you're open to it being in different ways, like if you adopted a child and stuff like that, it doesn't take necessarily the same amount of time than birthing a baby from your own body. It's just different. But it's like it's the same baby, but well, not the same baby technically, but a baby nonetheless, but baby coming in from different ways. So sometimes things, there's a timing to everything, and if you're open to different possibilities with how that plays out, the timing can change. Just like, if you wanted a house, most people's like, oh, I have to save enough money to be able to afford a down payment and have my credit score and everything look good so I can get approved for a mortgage, versus if someone leaves you a house in inheritance. They're just different. I mean, if it's inheritance, I might have to go through probate, or maybe it's in a trust. It's all different timing of things with how things work out for you. So if you feel like you don't know, or if like the timing isn't feeling right, it's just a suggestion about coming to like a center place and just reevaluating, like what would be the extreme of this, what would be extreme one way and extreme another way, what's something in the middle that I can do. Because I feel like, at least where I am, an American culture where it's just like we're taught we have to push, 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 push to like get things done, and sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes hustling and hustling will just make you sick and tired. I've been there. I've done that. I don't want to be sick and tired, and there are some people that are great at doing it because they're passionate about doing it. And for them, it's not exactly the same type of hustle as it is for other people. I'm not saying, you shouldn't do hard work, because like if you're passionate, you really want to do it, you will find a way to do it. But it's about finding the right balance for you at the right time. And maybe you can do this condensed amount of work for a short period of time, and then you need to do something else and then go back. Everything has cycles. We're all about cycles here. So I know, probably when I play this back, this will make much more sense than what I'm talking about right now. But yeah, I just hope you all are doing well. And where are you in your journey? Like, where are things that you're motivated to do? And maybe just looking at, oh, here's something that comes to mind. So like when you look at the extremes of what's working, what's not working, maybe by looking at them, you can piece together things to make it work. Like, oh, I forget what this is called, but you have like the big circle here and you have another circle here. And, at some point there's that middle space where all that stuff is. So I think if you look at wherever you're thinking about, like pros, cons, extreme, extreme, there's normally some place in the middle, some overlap. You can find your right answers. And then from there, you can expand on that, making that grow, because your attention is on that, like that sweet spot. So if you expand on your sweet spot, I think you could get so much more out of that. Okay, well, that was an interesting turnabout. So I don't know if you hear the sirens, but it's part of living in a city. But yeah, I would love to learn what your middle way is and things you're looking forward to doing, and just playing with understanding the timing or the process of it. And I would just love to hear more about what you all are doing. All right, I hope you have a great one. Bye.